lesson plan, I took, it was adjectives and adverbs, and I selected adverbs of frequency. Amazing. So, and hello to all of our online colleagues. My course context was, I'm thinking about the lesson plans that I'm doing in the program in the context of a rich course for students who are seeking to study at an English language college or university setting. So I'm targeting intermediate, low intermediate. As I was looking at adverbs of frequency, set up my lesson plan, and I can show you just a little bit of that if it makes sense. Start with a warm-up or a review, which I thought I would, basically they're going to have had some adverb experience before, so let's brainstorm on the board about adverbs, including adverbs of frequency. I'm including other time expressions because as I looked at a variety of different textbooks, I found them grouped together. And then we go through and just do a pretty straightforward lesson plan, do presentation of material, what are adverbs of frequency, and then talk about the adverbs that we had brainstormed about on the board, and have the students then order them, similar to what we did with our cards, but since it's still preliminary activity, just do it on the board. After that, using word cards, common technique, to show the positioning, and principally I was going to focus, since this is targeted on an intermediate lesson, focus on where they go with the verb to be, and then focus on where they go with other verb phrases, which would be after the first auxiliary or between the first auxiliary and the main verb, or before the main verb if there is no auxiliary. And then depending on the level of the students, you could also demonstrate placement with some longer time expressions. They're late once in a while they are late. Did I have anything else? And then I also thought it would make sense to demonstrate ever. For this particular lesson, because I was targeting intermediate, I wasn't assuming a lot of higher level knowledge. I didn't go into the positive negative on adverbs. As we've seen in the lesson we just had, there's a lot you can do with adverbs. I thought that was a little bit more advanced, and so didn't bother with that in this particular lesson. And then I thought for initial practice, we could look at some guided and controlled practice, some pair work. I came up with some, activity which I saw in a textbook had a schedule, so days of the week and activities including sports practices and sports games. And then you have the students work in pairs to answer questions based on that schedule. So I don't have that up, but some examples of the questions. How long does the team practice? The team always practices for 30 minutes. The team never practices on Saturday. They always play a game on Tuesday night, those sorts of things. They often do things because you don't set everything up to be the same every day of the week. And then for my last activity, I had two ideas. One would be to have the students work in pairs to answer a series of questions, two things that you like to do, and how often do you do those things. So this is more free creativity on their part. And then the last was to work on an activity sheet, which I have for us to do. But let me talk you through this a little bit. I think there's some ideas to share here. The example that I saw, that I started with, was something like this. So find someone who does each of these things. I actually then remembered from a holiday party that I attended, we had like a board where we were asked to walk around the room. It was a mixer, walk around the room and find somebody who, and in that case, for that particular party, it was find somebody who's jumped out of an airplane. Find somebody whose eyes are blue, so it's find somebody who has a white car. So a whole variety of things. A couple things were hard to find, and it was designed as a mixer. Liking the idea of getting people up and moving around, especially at the end of class. I thought something similar to that for adverbs might work. So find someone who, first example here, often wakes up early in the morning. Get you mixing. But let me add something, because the idea that we just worked with earlier today in class, another alternative on that would be to take our example here, maybe this one is a better example, and create a grid. So that now I have to fill in a name in each box, but across the top of my grid I have never, seldom, often, and on the side I have go to bed before 10 o'clock. So now I have to work the room and find someone who never goes to bed before 10 o'clock and someone who often goes to bed before 10 o'clock. So I wouldn't necessarily use this many, but I think you could do 3 or 4 and get walking around and get talking to people and filling in names in boxes for people who do the various things. So the example and the little exercise we're going to practice is find somebody who. So I will ask you to take no more than a couple minutes, passing out the worksheet. To take a worksheet and mix it up and find somebody who.